Hey everyone, this is Stan Hazelup. Today's date's October 20th, and I wanted to go ahead and show everyone a game I made. Now, this game was made using the CryEngine. It's not really a game, more of a level design, and it was my first level design attempt using the CryEngine. So I'm going to go ahead and go forth and show you what I have. First of all, you're going to go ahead and see this is a island-based level, just because it's pretty much the easiest to build in the CryEngine. I'll go ahead and show you. You're going to see those blue boxes. Those are going to be navigation points. Those familiar with Crytek or editor tools would probably know that already, but that's for those of you unfamiliar. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through my island, and we can go ahead and walk through the method to my madness here. First of all, there's your house. There's your starting point. All right. Whenever you go ahead and start game, that's typically where you're going to go ahead and start off on. So I'm going to go ahead and enable the game here real quick. Well, enable the physics and the AI just so you know the characters in my game are starting to walk around. Switch to game. And there, I'm going to go ahead and start there each and every single time. Alright, exit out of that. So, and in case anyone's curious, if you never used a CryEngine and you always wanted to switch game, as you might saw up there, Control G, you're going to switch back to that. Escape button, I'm out of it. Alright, next, let's go ahead and look at my starting point. It's just a house. You're going to go ahead and just start in this basic house, just a basic island. And there's some rocks that I added here. We'll get to the texturing and whatnot that I did a little later. Method to my madness. Okay, first, you have a vehicle that you're going to go ahead and walk over to this, from your starting point, you're going to walk over to this vehicle, which is going to go ahead and take you down this path. Down this path, you're going to go ahead and encounter a roving patrolled guard. As you can see, I placed him over here. Now that patrol guard is set to kind of walk kind of slowly. Some of them are kind of set to run, just depending. And they are set that when they do see you, which would be in about 50 yards, they would start to shoot on sight. Next we have a little point of interest. This is a small little base with a couple of different roving patrol guard and one stationary guard right there with a couple of cans and foliage to hide behind. That hill is just for accessibility. If you can get on top of that hill, great. If you can't, oh well. But there's nothing really here except for a little firefight you can engage in, and there's a couple health packs because I figure after the firefight you're probably going to be hurting. Next, let's go ahead and go up to this hill up here. Let's say you took that vehicle, that little Humvee over here, and you decided to drive up this hill. Well, once you do, you're going to encounter a Black Hawk helicopter. You can use this to fly pretty much around the entire island. This guard post here, that was added as just kind of an effect. I wanted to put a soldier in there, but what I did is this original level design was made for a project I was working on. Well, not a project, it was a level design test I was doing. That test was for a job I was applying for back in Orlando, but since I've moved to San Francisco, since I have a completely different job, and I had to go ahead and tell the other job, you know, no thank you, I'm moving cross country. Alright, let's say you take the Humvee, you don't want to go to the left side. As you can see, it's a branching path. You want to go to the right side. Great! I added a bridge, I added some inlets, some rivers, more foliage. I'll go ahead and get to the texturing here in a bit. I add a little pathway that you can cross around. Some more houses you can encounter. You know, if I ever want to revisit this, I could just add enemies everywhere so you can get into massive firefights when you get to this location. This location is pretty much the end location here. You can go exploring around from this point, but that's basically it if you want to go to the left side. Alright, now let's get into the method to my madness. Why did I choose an island level? Well, it's quick and easy. That's basically it. I wanted to do something very large, very quick and easy, something I can have fun with. I'll post some pictures here in a couple minutes of what I was going for with an island level and why I chose that and how I made this island level. This is a volcano I was going to mess with, but then I decided I'm messing way too much with this tech. By the time I got to this volcano that I was going to make right here, I had spent more than 12 hours just making this rough texture map. My apologies, not rough texture map, rough level design map. At that point, I decided, let me go ahead and add in some enemies. And for this level, I was learning as I go. This was my first time ever using the CryEngine. This is my first time making paths. This is the first time using textures on it. I'm very familiar with the Unreal Editor kit, so it's not too much different, but it's still different enough that you do want to take some time to learn it. If you were to go ahead and walk past here after you defeated this guard post, if you chose to fight this guard post, you can go ahead and take this little inlet. It's just big enough that you can walk on, kind of swim along it and walk on to this lighthouse. Once again, my idea in my mind is if you get to this lighthouse, you might encounter some enemies. So now that all that's said, now that you see the mountains, what was my ideaing for the texture? Well, for the texture, since it's an island map, I wanted the texture for the sand to be very simple. Grainy, gritty, full of little rocks. Little rocks are along the side, kind of like right here. And they're all over the actual map. You're going to see, if you were to take a look at this map, if I ever post a little file link for it, you're going to see little rocks are kind of everywhere. You have to get real close to see them though. Bigger rocks are kind of at beachheads. I only made a couple of those. Oh, speaking of beachhead, let me go ahead and increase the speed down here so my camera moves even faster. Let's move it at ×2 speed. There we go. Much faster. There's a speedboat at this beachhead. If you want to take this speedboat, you can take it around the entire island. As you can see here for you Crytek creationists, I did not create a kill box around here anywhere. So you can take it as long as you want. I figure the people that might be testing this level, before I turned it in, I was going to create some kill zones, but I decided not to since I was not going to turn it in. There's some islands that you could take the speedboat through. It's going to be a little difficult to get through this section, but that was done on purpose because no river is 100% accessible with any sort of, marine craft. It's just not. This one right here is almost completely inaccessible. You could just walk across it though. I might show that off here in a minute. So first things first, let's go ahead and start off by me playing the game for you. Okay, and we're back. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead, pop into the game, push Control G to interact, push the shift button to run. Your F key is going to be to interact with items such as this vehicle here, and we're going to take a little trip around the island. So first of all, I'll hop in, break off and get going. The hills I was going to smooth out, but once again I was focusing so much on the terrain. I spent well over 12 hours on the terrain. I figured it's time to shorten it up. Let me go ahead and get some AI in here, which we're going to encounter. Now, I can't go ahead and get into a firefight with them, or I can just run them over. Which sounds like the best idea to me. Now these guys, I'm going to run him over, get out, and let's have a firefight. Very simple firing mechanics. I actually kept the base firing mechanics in here. Didn't alter them at all. I did alter the health of some of them. Oh, let me go ahead and grab those health kits, speaking of which. Yes, you do have to push the F key to interact with the health. Reload this gun. And I do believe there's one more baddie around here. There he is. Alright, now that that's taken care of, I can go, pretty much the world is my oyster now, because you saw I've pretty much killed all the enemies around here. So what can I do? Well, I destroyed the vehicle, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's jump back. So once again, push the escape key. I'm going to hit Control G again, and this time we're going to take the upper path, and we're going to try the helicopter, alright? Because once again, I was trying to make a sandbox island. I wanted to make it so that, whatever you want to do in this level, you have the option to do. Once again, go over this rough terrain. And before the patrolling guards can get to me, I'm going to drive up this hill. Alright, gonna stop here. I'm actually gonna park this over to the side so that when I take off in the helicopter, or I could just drive that off to the edge, whichever. Alright, and here we go. Now the helicopter, much like anything in any other Battlefield or any other first-person shooter, is a little difficult to fly. But you can use it to go ahead and explore the rest of this island. Yes, the people will try to shoot at you. You're in the helicopter though, so it's going to take a little while before they do enough damage to actually hurt you. Now you're probably wondering, have I ever flown a helicopter in real life? Nope. As a matter of fact, I'm going to crash this one right now. Goodbye. Let's hop into what we can do next. Welcome back. Alright, let's go ahead and do this next. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control G again, and we're going to go for that speedboat that we saw over there. Why the hell not? Same thing that we've done before. Hop into the Humvee. We're going to make a left-hand turn at the beachhead fork. Oh yeah, these trees, these are all basic model trees that I got in the same model pack that comes when you get the editor kit, the SDK. Gonna hop out of here. Now I was going to go ahead and make, something a little bit more better than this basic beachhead. But once again, focusing so much on the terrain. Now we're in the boat. Let's go exploring. Now, as with the CryEngine, I found out, even if there's no kill box in the outside of this level, you still can die. The way you can die is if you go way too far out, that the game just stops. I think it stops computing. There we go. I just hit the edge. Let's try that again. Actually, I decided we're not going to try the speedboat section again. It's there. You pretty much know what you're getting. You could just, speedboat around the island. For the final bit, let's just go ahead and go into this Humvee. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drive to the right side of the island. No real reason, just cause, to show it off. A lot rougher terrain, because even though there's bridges, the island creators thinking of this island. More very basic texture, ground texture. Something powerful. Depending on the texture pack that you pick to go ahead and create the ground, I notice it does leave footprints. That's really nice. And here we go. This is the end of that path. Alright, so that should do it. I'm going to go ahead and post some pictures as to how it came to be. Alright, thank you very much.